Hey everybody, Jabba the Griffin here, back in my rightful place as a Callous Invitational uh, assistant to the regional manager, narrator. I have a couple series this round. I have Undisputed, Dekzeh, and I have H-Clat, Blightbringer, which was also played yesterday. So hopefully, you'll get to hear me a lot this weekend if I can run through all these before the July 4th festivities start. Although if you're a true patriot, you never stop celebrating America. So remember that. Anyway, I'm contractually obligated to discuss these players before just jumping into the match. If you watched the live stream reveal of the pairings the other day, you would have heard me say, this is one of my most anticipated matchups. This is, the Boomer Dream matchup, being two players with a, kind of a storied offensive history in SPL, World Cup, all those things. They're two of the more interesting team builders and players. I've always found them really difficult to play against, and so seeing them play against each other should be really interesting. I believe they're both 4-6 in Callous Invitational tournaments. That's what I've been told. Undisputed nor Dekzeh have played in the recent SPL, I believe. Undisputed had himself a pretty good run in Advanced Cup. I think you're going to see a lot of people who made deep runs in that tournament make maybe similar runs here. You're already seeing Ban Manaphy Mana, who had a great series the other day, looked really good. And just the momentum of making it far in that tournament might carry over to this. Dekzeh didn't play in that, but he did make it through the play-ins. He brought a lot of interesting stuff, either off color or completely zany, is I believe the technical term for advanced team building. And you're staring at the screen right now, and you're like, well, that's a Smeargle lead. It is. So you can see right off the bat that he's not throwing away his team building style, let's call it, now that he's out of the play-ins and in the main event. Smeargle isn't the most uncommon thing in the world, but it's not something I think you're going to see that much this tournament. Probably more likely to see it on ladder, but you probably safely assume as a lead it's just a Spore Spikers. I'm never sure what the last two moves are. I guess it's probably safest to just be like Boom Taunt or something like that. I don't know. I haven't run. Actually, I've never run an advanced Smeargle Suicide lead, which is funny because you'd think I'd like that. It does fit my style. Maybe I might. I'm already stealing ideas from this game, and it's just the front pairing matchup. All right, so let's hop into this one, and you're likely gonna see a Spore come down, and then just Smeargle spike up. And Undisputed brings the Suicune in to take the sleep, and we'll see Dekzeh throw down as many layers as he can safely get away with putting down before he needs to get out. Suicune is in fact Raccoon, or some other Sleep Talk variant, most likely Raccoon. So he's looking to hit the surf so that he can kill the Smeargle. Obviously, that's the goal in this game, is to kill the other person's Pokemon before they kill yours. Thanks, John Madden. He does hit the surf on the second one, so Dex is gonna switch out. Undisputed hits the Wake Up and just goes right into the Calm Minds. So that was a good switch by Dekzeh. And Undisputed has Claydol, so hopefully Dekzeh has a blocker in the back, or that Smeargle was all for naught. He BP's out to Gengar. Alright, so he does get a block or a blocker, but it doesn't matter because Undisputed nails the prediction assuming you're not going to have Smeargle in the front as a suicide lead if all your opponent needs to do is have a Claydol to spin those away, especially in this meta where Melodel is very popular. Surprising move by Dekzeh to just lead with the boom. I guess he just wants to kind of play this match to end as quickly as possible. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this spikes, then layers, and tries to boom too. Because that kind of seems to be the way Dex is playing. He might even have more booms. This could be just a full boom team, which would be cool, really interesting. Suicide lead, Smeargle, boom team, with the Zapdos chilling. That'd be some innovation. Does get the last layer, and then the Gross wakes up, and Earthquake kill, likely. And he goes for the mash for some reason. Obviously, we don't know the full rest of the set. We've only seen mash, but there had to be a move that could kill a Smeargle from 44%. So Dekzeh is able to just get another Spore off, and then we'll see what he does here. Whether he booms or he goes maybe back to Zap or something like that. Probably doesn't want to go to Zap because he doesn't want to give Claydol a chance to spin. Interesting. Was that going to be a roar, I guess? That's odd. Odd move on that set. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I just don't. That's Jabba. That's the standard advanced Smeargle set. Come on, man. Everybody knows that. Undy with the Ments, and I guess since it's the first set of this series, we can discuss real quick the Jabba the Griffin Salamance theorem, which states that he who uses Salamance loses, but obviously if you telegraph the HP grass, like hard telegraph the HP grass Salamance into the Swampert, which looked to be one of those power perts, I'd like to call it, that has no regards for its own safety, and then you leave it in on the telegraphed HP grass, then yes, maybe the Salamance user will win. In that limited scenario, I'll carve out a hole in the theorem that allows for that one specific instance. So this is a full mix Ments. He went for the Brick Break. This is, even with the 3 spikes up, this is not looking good for Dekzeh. His team is really frail. And he just eats a claw and then BP's out. Yeah, his team is really frail and doesn't hit that hard. And he pretty much is just entirely relying on those 3 layers. like bring everything that's weak to spikes and maybe I'll have a chance to win. That's a gold duck. I have no idea what that's even supposed to do. It's Calm Minds begs the question why you're not running something that isn't Golduck, like say Suicune. But maybe there's a niche. Maybe he's super worried about Kingdra. he thought Undisputed would come in game 1 with the Rain Dance Kingdra, and he would use Golduck to bring it home, and he'd be hailed as a god. But unfortunately, it's now so far just looks like a shittier Suicune. And Claydol is almost certainly going to safely just spin here, and then we can just probably call it. He probably doesn't even need to spin. He probably just like boom or something at this point. I mean, it should be a roll, but he'll spin. Get the layers off. Yep. This I guess when you're looking at Dex's team and you look at how he made it through play-ins, it's kind of almost like, live by the sword, die by the sword. The crazy shit carried you, and now you have it again, and it just falling to pretty standard kind of almost like semi-stall on Undisputed's side. I don't know what we would expect in the back. I'm surprised he doesn't have spikes. Maybe he does, he just never got a chance to use it. It's not like anything on Dekzeh's team requires a Skarmory to come in, because mixed mensch just by itself is a little weak. Obviously, unless I noted earlier, you just leave your hurt in on it. Dekzeh, I don't think Claydol's even taking any chips. So even if he flinches here or he crits, he would also need HP bug, and then he would need to crit the Claydol. Then even that might not be enough because he's only 37%. Yeah, there's the flinch. So he still needs a lot more. I mean, it's with DD Tar, it's never outside the range of possibility. I'm sure if you watch the play-ins, you'll see one of Dekzeh's more exciting games was a DD Tar last that just needed one to set up it and roll through. But yeah, he's gonna need an HP bug crit right here. Oh, he doesn't even means he doesn't have it, so he didn't go for it. And now he's gonna rely on Golduck to bring it around, which is probably the first time that's ever happened in CALLOUS Invitational Tour where someone is praying to Golduck. Oh, the last is Snorlax. Oh yeah, obviously, yeah, that should have been telegraphed. You can very much see how out of touch I am with the standard teams. I think Undisputed's team is a little rough in a typical matchup against Dekzeh, in my opinion, at least. If Dekzeh had brought kind of the teams I know he's used, in past SPLs, those kind of offensive teams that actually, pack a punch and aren't this. I think you're looking at Dekzeh's team. I like some of the core, but I would have leaned maybe on kind of like more like Gengar, kind of the fast boom stuff. The kind of power Swampert is nice, but I don't think it really fits this specific team because you almost need a pivot there. So either use it as a pivot or don't use it at all. You use. I don't know. It's hard to think around a team that just failed so miserably and come up with a way it could have worked. I don't know. It's a tough one. Either way, Undisputed brings a fairly standard team. And what I'm saying is I think that the Mence is a little weak there. I personally don't like mixed Mence without spike support. I don't know what the general consensus is on that, but I think it just doesn't hit hard enough on its own. He's got a solid defensive core there. He's got the Metagross too. That's the Krakoon. That was a boom Snorlax, so it's kind of bulky offense with a little defense. And I get maybe this kind of team does work against something Dex is going to bring because it both has the and maybe that's what he's banking on because he knows Dekzeh isn't going to bring stall, and that's where this team just kind of fails is against full stall because you're never really going to be able to break it, and so you bring that kind of bulky offense that is just going to have something like a Zapdos or offensive waters. You bring the Snorlax in. Snorlax notoriously, is a problem for those teams. The hefty body slam is going to be really hard for them to switch in on. So yeah, maybe I take it back. I do like Undisputed's team choice in what he expected this matchup to be. Obviously, it went into left field, and you probably can't predict something like what Dekzeh brought. But luckily, the team Undisputed brought was just solid enough at its core to kind of deal with that off the wall stuff. I think Dekzeh obviously just tried to catch the Blissey with the boom, and then hoped the rest of his team could put it work. The Zapdos and the Golduck and the offensive. Pert could just do the rest of the work. And looking at the team, that's not a wrong assumption. So you might want to look at this matchup and go, well, Undisputed just had it won every time. That's pretty easy. But I think that boom turn, if Undisputed does go, Blissey there, and Dekzeh just catches that boom, we're looking at a completely different game. And I think Dekzeh has a real chance. So overzealous maybe, but it's kind of a play to win rather than one to not lose. Obviously you can check it down all day. You can just hold it. You can hope that eventually your opponent is just not scared of the boom, or you're not going to do it. And part of that is Undisputed did a really good job of catching the Gengar with that psychic, which kind of forced Dekzeh's hand. If he just spins there, just like no brain clicks a spin, like, oh, spikes are on my side, I gotta spin them away. And Dekzeh gets the Gengar in for free. Then Dekzeh has a lot more time to kind of play around with the will I boom, won't I boom kind of whole situation. But by catching him with the psychic, you're kind of forced his hand a little early, and so he just booms off the bat, hopes to catch the bliss. Doesn't really give a shit about spikes. He just wants Claydol might have a tough time spinning. He really just wants to have the couple layers up and then get his special offensive threats in there and run the team down as fast as he can. So I think it all goes back to that turn. I don't think the game was as far away as it looked. It just obviously from that turn forward, it took a branching path where obviously Undisputed just wins pretty easily. But obviously in an alternate universe, which does exist, the physics are certain on that. I read an article the other day, so obviously that was true. Where Gengar booms. Oh shit. CALLOUS, where Gengar blows on the nurse's face. Fucking kill me. And then we're looking at a completely different game. Anyway, let's jump right into game 2. And see how this series moves from here. Hopefully Dekzeh keeps bringing the weird shit, and hopefully it does a little bit better this time.